Back on Adapt and Respond with me, RJ Young. If you are new to the channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, like this video, and answer the question in the comments below. Do you think that Penn State can cover the spread against the #1 ranked Ohio State Buckeyes when the Nittany Lions got to come to Ohio Stadium on Saturday? My goodness, guys. Like this game might get violent, and not in a good way, because it was already going to be hard for Penn State to win this game, even if they were undefeated, given their history with James Franklin as their head coach, against Michigan, against Ohio State, against top 10 opponents, against top 15 opponents, against #1 ranked teams. And now they ain't got none of that. And since firing James Franklin, it ain't got better. As a matter of fact, Penn State has lost its last 4 in a row, including the debut for interim Terry Smith, who found a way to lose to Iowa despite having a lead at halftime. They lost 25-24, and that felt like a winnable game for them. Mark Gronowski was not great in that game. 130 yards rushing, 2 TDs. Caden Wetjen had the go-ahead TD against them. But it's a Penn State team that has frankly lost its way. It lost its head coach. It lost its starting quarterback. It's a running team now. That's what it's got to be. It's got to be a team where the running backs carrying the load, the defense is trying to play that sort of defense. It's just really difficult to do that against an Ohio State team that is not just good, but good on both sides of the ball. It's also really interesting footing for Penn State, who has not lost 5 in a row since 2020, when they opened the season with 5 consecutive losses, and we all mostly threw out 2020 for most teams. Didn't throw it out for Ohio State, didn't throw it out for the 2020 Alabama team that won the national championships. Matter of fact, when we got to the conference championship games and the college football playoff, it was great. It's great football. But teams like Michigan and Penn State would like to refer to 2020 as something like a lost season. But we're also threatening to do something else with this Penn State team. Penn State has not lost 7 games in a row since the 1930s. And if you look at the schedule, it's not out of the realm of possibility, because this would be a 5th against Ohio State. We're also looking at a Penn State team that is tied for the longest losing streak for a team that was ranked at AP #2 or better to start the season. The previous team to have 5 consecutive losses after being ranked preseason AP #2 or #1 was #1 Iowa in 1961, who lost 4 in a row after starting the season 4-0. It can happen. It can happen. And as I look at this game and I look at what is at stake for the Buckeyes, one of the things that I wonder is the over going to hit? I think so. Are they going to cover the spread? Probably. Whatever it might be. If you feel the same, you might go check it out at MyBookie, see what the spread is, see what the player props are, and then when the game is on, see what the in-game line is. And if you do, use the promo code RJ Young. That's all one word, all capital letters, my name, and you get your first $500 covered, right? Up to $500 covered on your first bets, meaning that if you play and you miss, you use your bet back bonus token, they let you play again. Although, if you look at Ohio State and you look at Penn State and you're really concerned about this one, I would question whether or not you watch a lot of college football. I mean, just full stop. Are you a casual here? Because casuals don't really like this show. It's not really for them. They watch another kind of college football show. But if you've been paying attention to the sport, you know better than anybody else. Yeah, all right. It might be a bloodbath. I mean, we're talking about Julian Sand, who could be up for the Heisman Trophy, and for me, is the front runner to win it. There are a lot of guys that should be considered, but I don't see anybody else playing better than him. And one of the other things I also listen to is when other players on your team say you're the Heisman Trophy winner, like Carnell Tate does about Julian Sand, I tend to believe them. It's a dude that's completing 80% of his passes. He's thrown for 267 yards a game. He's thrown 19 TDs to 3 INTs. They have a freshman. They have an underclassman in Bo Jackson as their leading rusher. And that's not to say that James Peoples or CJ Donaldson are bad. They're not. Jeremiah Smith and Carnell Tate are 2 of the best wide receivers in the country. They happen to play on the same team. You could make an argument that 5 of the best players, in college football all play at Ohio State. Arvell Reese, who makes Caleb Downs look like an ant, but Caleb Downs, who might be the best player in college football, if not the second best player in college football. And then there's Sand, and then there are the two wide receivers. See how I got to 5 so quickly? That's what coming at Penn State. That's what they got to play against. At 3-4, my God. Just when you didn't think it could get any worse, if you're a Penn State fan, you're just going to have to grin and bear this season, and you're going to have to take whatever's coming. Because not just you got Ohio State. You got Indiana right after Ohio State. You play number 1 and number 2 in back-to-back weeks with no bye week. This is your bye week. Golly, man. Do you realize that it's not out of the realm of possibility that Penn State doesn't score another point until November 15th? That would be basically a full month, because if Ohio State wanted to hold them scoreless, it feels like they could. If Indiana wanted to hold them scoreless, it feels like they could. If both of them want to put up 50, it feels like they could. They could lose these games 100-0. In which case, you still have to identify the next head coach to be at Penn State, and you still have to try to find the talent you're inevitably going to lose, and you're going to have to find the money to pay them. It's just not fun right now. It's not fun to be a Nittany Lion. I understand. But again, I just don't expect to see it get any better. Not right now, dog. Not when you're giving up 19 points a game and Ohio State's giving up 5.3. Not when you can't throw the football, and when anybody can guess that you're running the football and they can still stop you. It's just, I can't come up with a recipe for you to win. I can't. The recipe for you to win, I say that. I can't come up with a recipe for you to win. What it is catastrophic failure on the part of the Ohio State Buckeyes, and I don't see that in the offing. Because Ohio State hates Penn State like A&M hates LSU, and vice versa, right? It's earned. It's earned. It ain't a rivalry per se, but it's a rivalry if you're paying attention, because Ohio State fans really, 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 really love to beat up on Penn State. And I think there's a lot of reasons for that. One is James Franklin made it even easier for people to like Penn State if you're at Ohio State. Number 2 is, remember Penn State was an independent until like 1990, and they've still been operating like an independent. And Ohio State is dyed in the wool. We're one of the 4 founding members of this conference in the 19th century, and we allow you to be here, and this is how you treat us. Show some respect is probably going to be written across their helmets forever in invisible ink. That's just what it is. And Penn State's like, respect who? It's like, respect 8 national championships, folks. Like, you ain't won no national championships in 1986. What are we talking about here? What you got? What you got, Larry? Kajana? Kerry Collins? Trace McSorley? No, I mean, it's Saquon and it's Micah. I get all that. But you get my point, right? You know, I can point to Puzzlesny. I can point to LeVar Arrington. I can point to some great players that come out of Penn State. I don't mean it like that. I mean it to say that's what Ohio State be saying. They don't care, not none of that. They love to beat up on you. They love to beat up on you. They love to beat up on you. In that way, I hope y'all come to play. I sincerely hope y'all come to play. Because if you can make a game of this for the first half, you make a game of this going into the third quarter, perhaps you put a little bit of dirt on that sheen, on that shine that is the Buckeyes, who feel like they're going to go back to back. Feel like the best team repeatedly. Just who's going to beat them? Like, we want to see this Indiana matchup, and we're hoping that neither team slips, because that feels like it would be a good game. And Indiana knows that Ohio State is that team, right? They're not scared of anybody else. They're really not. I don't think they're scared of any team in the SEC. I think they know they're better than the best team in the SEC. I also think that they know that Ohio State just built different. And Ohio State should take every opportunity to try to make themselves into an even bigger boogeyman with that game feeling like it is inevitable come December. And we'll decide who gets the number 1 seed. But we're also, remember, number 1 seed ain't all it was cracked up to be. And then we changed it to 12 straight seeding. So maybe it doesn't look as lopsided as it did when the Buckeyes were able to host a home game and then win the next 4. That's what it is. All right. That is going to do it for this episode of Adapt and Respond. If you like the show, let me know in the comments below. and I'll see you on the flip side.